Hello, I'm Anna.
And I'm Leo.
So today we're going to talk about something that I think makes almost everyone's heartbeat just a little bit faster.
Oh, yeah.
It's that very specific, kind of terrifying moment when you walk into a room. Maybe it's a party, could be a wedding reception, or even just a work event.
Right.
And it seems like every single person is already talking.
You have that feeling. You're holding your drink probably a little too tightly.
Definitely.
And you're just standing there, maybe hovering by the snacks or sort of leaning against a wall.
Trying to look casual.
Exactly. And you look around and all you see are these tight circles of people. They're laughing, they're deep in conversation, and you are completely on the outside thinking, how on earth do I get in there?
Exactly. It's the challenge of trying to join a conversation that's already started, it feels like. I don't know, trying to jump onto a moving train.
That's a great way to put it.
You don't want to interrupt, you don't want to be rude, and you definitely don't want that awful, awkward moment where everyone just stops talking, turns around, and stares at you.
That is the big fear.
Yeah.
It is, in fact, one of the most common social anxieties people report. But here's the good news.
Okay.
While it feels incredibly scary, it is actually very normal. And more importantly, most of the time, those people in the circles, they actually want you to join them.
Really? That is so hard to believe when you're the one standing alone by the dip.
They really do. And today, we're going to look at exactly how to do it. We're not just going to give you that generic advice like, oh, just be brave.
Be confident. Yeah, thanks.
Right. We've gathered a whole stack of research on social psychology, on evolutionary behavior, and even the mechanics of conversation. We're going to break this whole thing down into a science.
So we can give you some practical tools. We're talking about the mindset you need to have, how to read the room to find the right group, because not all groups are created equal.
Not at all. And then, you know, exactly what words to say so you can slide into a conversation really smoothly. We're going to turn that awkward hovering into a confident entry. So let's start with what's happening inside our heads. Why does this feel so terrifying? Why does it feel like we're about to walk off a cliff just by saying hello?
Well, looking at the research, it seems like a lot of it starts with something psychologists call the spotlight effect. I was reading about this, and it explains so much of my own anxiety.
The spotlight effect is fascinating. It's this term coined by Thomas Gilovich and his team. And basically, it's the tendency we all have to overestimate how much other people are noticing us.
Right. It feels like there's this bright stage light shining directly on you.
Yeah.
You walk into the room and you feel like everyone has stopped what they're doing just to judge your haircut or your shoes or how you're standing. You feel like the center of attention, but in like the worst possible way.
Precisely. And Gilovich actually proved this with a really funny study back in 2000. He had students wear a T-shirt that was designed to be embarrassing.
Oh, no.
It had a huge picture of Barry Manilow on it.
Barry Manilow? That is hilarious. So he just made them walk into a room wearing this shirt?
Yep. Sent them right into a room full of other students who were just, filling out some forms. Afterwards, he asked the T-shirt wearers, how many people in that room do you think noticed your embarrassing shirt?
And what did they say? They must have thought everyone saw.
They guessed around 50%. They were convinced half the room was staring at them, judging their taste in music.
And what was the reality?
The reality. Less than 20% actually noticed. It was a huge gap.
Wow.
The point is, we walk around with this intense focus on ourselves, so we just assume everyone else is focused on us too. But they aren't.
They're focused on themselves, they're worrying about their own T-shirts or their own conversations, or if they have spinach in their teeth.
Precisely. It's what they call an egocentric bias. We're the main characters in our own movie, so we assume we're in everyone else's movie too.
But really, we're just extras in the background.
Most of the time, yeah. And once you realize that spotlight isn't real, or at least it's very, very dim, it takes a lot of the pressure off. You aren't walking onto a stage to perform. You're just walking into a room of people who are also probably feeling a bit self-conscious.
Okay, that is a relief. But even if we know they aren't staring at us, there's still that fear that once we do talk to them, they won't like us.
Yes.
Which brings us to another concept from the research that I found really, really comforting. It's called the liking gap.
The liking gap. This is a more recent study, I think from 2018. It was a team of researchers from Cornell, Harvard, Yale, and Essex. So, heavy hitter study.
Right.
And they wanted to know, basically, do we have any idea how much people actually like us?
And the answer is a big no, right?
A huge no. They paired up strangers and had them talk for just 5 minutes, simple chat. Afterward, They separated them and asked two questions. First, how much did you like the other person?
Okay.
And second, how much do you think the other person liked you?
And I'm guessing those numbers didn't quite match up?
Not at all. People consistently liked the other person more than they thought the other person liked them. There was a gap.
Huh.
You walk away from a conversation thinking, oh, I was so boring, or, oof, I talked way too much, or I made that weird joke. But the other person is usually just thinking, oh, they were nice, or that was an enjoyable chat.
So we really are our own harshest critics. We have this whole internal monologue that's just critiquing our performance, but the other person doesn't hear any of that.
No, they don't. They just see our friendly behavior. The researchers found this gap exists because we're so focused on our internal thoughts, all our insecurities, while the other person is just looking at our external signals, like a smile.
So the liking gap basically tells us that the group you want to approach is probably way friendlier than you imagine.
Exactly. They are not looking for reasons to reject you.
That connects to something else we found, specifically in sources about weddings. It suggests that we need to sort of reframe the whole situation.
How so?
Instead of thinking, oh God, I'm bothering them, we should be thinking, I'm adding to the fun.
I love that shift in perspective. You're not a nuisance. You're a new ingredient in the recipe. You're bringing new energy into the group.
Yeah, and one source called the Wedding Edition suggested using something they call chattermations.
Chattermations.
I know, it sounds a little cheesy, like affirmations for chatting, but the logic behind it really holds up.
Okay, tell me how it works.
It's all about prepping your brain before you even walk in the door. You tell yourself things like, I am confident, or people will be interested in what I have to say, even just, I'm excited to meet someone new.
It sounds a bit funny, talking to yourself in the mirror or in the car on the way there.
A little bit.
But it works. It's actually similar to how athletes will visualize a game before they play. Your brain tends to believe what you tell it. So if you tell yourself, I'm going to interrupt and be awkward, your body language is going to look apologetic and closed off. You'll hunch your shoulders.
But if you tell yourself, I'm joining the fun, you'll stand taller, you'll look more open, and people really do respond to that energy.
Okay, so we've tackled the mindset. We know the spotlight effect is mostly a lie, and the liking gap means we're probably doing better than we think.
Right.
Now, let's get into the tactical part. You're standing there. There are, say, 10 different groups of people in the room. How do you know which one to join?
This is where reading the room comes in. And it's not a guessing game. There are actual physical signals that tell you, yes, come on in, or no, probably stay away.
Exactly. You need to be able to tell the difference between a closed group and an open group. And the secret, surprisingly, is usually in their feet.
The feet, not their faces.
Faces can be polite. Someone might smile at you while their body is basically screaming, go away. But feet are honest.
Okay.
Imagine a group of people standing in a really tight circle. They're shoulder to shoulder. It almost looks like a fortress.
I can picture that, yeah.
Now look at their feet. If their feet are all pointed inward, directly toward the center of that circle, like spokes on a wheel, that is a closed group. They are locked in.
So they're probably sharing a private secret or something.
Could be. Or maybe they're just old friends catching up on something really deep. Either way, that's a do not disturb sign.
Right, if you see the fortress with feet pointing in, just move on.
Exactly. Trying to break into that circle is going to be physically difficult and socially pretty risky. But if you look for an open group, the whole geometry is different.
So what does that look like?
An open group has gaps. So instead of a perfect circle, maybe they're standing in more of a U shape, leaving an open space. Or maybe a V shape.
Like a croissant instead of donuts.
Exactly. I love that. Look for the croissant. And then look at the feet again. If one person has their feet pointed just slightly outward, away from the center of the group, that's a subconscious signal.
An invitation.
It's an invitation. It says, I am open to someone else joining. It's really welcoming.
That makes so much sense. They're literally leaving the door open for you.
And there's another really specific rule for finding a good group, especially in big crowds like at networking events. One of our sources calls it the 3.2 rule.
The 3.2 rule. I found this really insightful. It's basically about the math of conversation.
It is. It's based on the idea that group conversations just eat. They have a natural limit. Human brains struggle to track more than 4 or 5 people in a single conversation. Once a group gets to be about 5 people or more, it starts to get unstable.
I have definitely seen this happen. You'll have a group of 6 people, and inevitably, it starts to fracture. Like 2 people start whispering on the side, and the main group shrinks.
That's it, exactly. The group naturally wants to split into a group of 3 and a group of 2. It's just so much easier to manage. So if you see a large group of 5 or more people, that's actually a fantastic target.
Which feels totally counterintuitive, right? You'd think a bigger group would be scarier.
You would think so. But you're not trying to talk to all 5 of them. Your goal is to look for that fracture point. You're looking for the moment when they're just about to split.
And you can help them do it.
Exactly. You're almost doing them a favor. You're solving their too many people in this conversation problem. You just approach the 2 people on the edge who are sort of drifting away from the main speaker, and you engage them. And you've just created a nice, comfortable trio.
That is a great strategy. And while you're scanning for feet and counting group sizes, there's one more signal that basically trumps everything else.
And that is...
Eye contact?
Yes. This is the big green light. If you look at a group and someone makes eye contact with you, and I don't just mean their eyes kind of sweep past you, I mean they actually look, maybe they smile or they raise their eyebrows a little.
That's the invitation. That is them saying, please come save me, or at least come join us.
And this brings us to a really critical tip from the Architecture of Social Integration source, the 3-second rule.
Is that like the 5-second rule for food you drop on the floor?
Similar concept. The rule is, once you make that eye contact or once you spot that open croissant group, you have to move within 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3, go. Because if you wait any longer than about 3 seconds, your brain kicks into overthinking mode. The adrenaline starts pumping. You start thinking, oh, maybe they're busy, or maybe I walk funny, or what if they just ignore me?
The hesitation kills the confidence.
It absolutely does. The longer you wait, the more the fear builds up and it paralyzes you. But if you just move immediately, you kind of bypass that internal critic. You're already walking before your brain has a chance to object.
So, spot the gap, catch the eye, count to 3, and move.
Correct. Okay, so now you've walked over. You're physically standing at the edge of the group.
Uh-huh.
This is the moment where people often freeze up, they get there, and then silence.
This is the hardest part for me, physically. How do you actually insert yourself? Do you just start talking over someone?
No, definitely don't talk over someone. There's a fantastic little trick for this, mentioned by a communication expert named Vin Jiang. He calls it the inhale trick.
The inhale trick. I love this one because it's so subtle. How does it work?
It's very simple, but it's biologically powerful. You stand at the edge of the group, you listen. You wait for a tiny pause in the conversation, even just a microsecond.
Okay.
When you hear that pause, you take a quick, audible breath in. You inhale through your mouth.
Just breathe in, like a gasp.
Not a shocked gasp, no, but a sharp intake of breath. Imagine the sound you make right before you start a sentence. You just go, ooh, sharp inhale sound.
And that works?
It works like magic. Humans are, evolutionarily programmed to recognize that sound. That intake of breath is an auditory cue that someone is about to speak. It triggers a reflex in the listeners. They subconsciously stop to see what's coming next.
So you don't even have to say a word yet. The breath itself kind of acts like a stop sign for everyone else.
It claims the floor for you without you having to be rude or loud. It creates a space for your voice.
That is such a cool social hack. It's like hacking the biology of the conversation. So what about the rest of your body? What are you doing with your arms while you're inhaling?
Good question. You want to look open. We mentioned this before. First rule, don't cross your arms. It just looks defensive, like you're protecting your vital organs. It signals, I feel threatened.
And the drink shield. We have to talk about the drink shield.
The drink shield is a classic. When we're nervous, we tend to hold our wine glass or a bottle up high right in front of our chest.
I do this all the time. I clutch it with both hands right under my chin.
It's a comfort barrier. You are literally putting an object between yourself and the other people. But it just closes you off. It makes you look guarded and unapproachable.
So where should we hold it?
Lower. Down by your waist. Keep your chest open. I know it feels vulnerable at first, but it signals confidence. It says, I have nothing to hide. I'm comfortable here.
And smile, of course.
Always smile. Not a fake frozen grin, but a genuine soft smile. It actually triggers mirror neurons in other people. If you smile, they're biologically inclined to smile back. And once they smile at you, they feel friendlier toward you. It's a feedback loop.
Okay, let's recap where we are. We've found the open group. We walked over within 3 seconds. We've lowered our drink. We've used the inhale trick to get their attention. Now comes the moment of truth. What do we actually say?
This is where the panic really sets in for a lot of people. They think they need to be hilarious or brilliant or have some amazing opening line.
Right.
But you don't. You just need a structure. And there's a great simple method for this called the ARE method. A-R-E.
I love acronyms. It makes things so much easier to remember in the heat of the moment. ARE. What does it stand for?
It stands for Anchor, Reveal, and Encourage. It's a perfect formula for small talk, and it works especially well for ESL learners or anyone who feels shy, because you can actually plan it out.
Okay, let's break that down, starting with A for anchor.
An anchor is about connecting on something you both share right now. It's your shared reality. You're both in the same room, breathing the same air at the same event. You just anchor the conversation in that immediate context.
So this is why people always end up talking about the weather.
Exactly. People make fun of talking about the weather, but it works because it's the one thing we're undeniably sharing in that moment. But you can usually do a bit better than the weather.
Okay, so give me some examples of a good anchor.
Sure. If you're at a wedding, your anchor could be the food. This cake is incredible. Or the atmosphere. Wow, it's so crowded in here. Or the music. I really love this band.
So you're not asking a question yet. You're just stating an observation about the world you're both in.
Right. You're just establishing common ground. We're both here experiencing the same thing.
Yeah.
Once you've dropped that anchor, you move on to our reveal.
Reveal. Okay, that sounds a little intimate. Are we sharing deep secrets here?
No secrets yet. A reveal is just sharing a tiny, tiny bit of information about yourself that relates to the anchor. You're giving the little piece of who you are. This is what builds trust. It turns you from a random stranger into a person with preferences and a history.
Okay, can you give an example? How does the reveal connect to the anchor?
Okay, so let's say your anchor was about the food. You said, this cake is delicious. Your reveal could be something like, I have a huge sweet tooth. I basically live for chocolate.
Okay. Simple. I like it.
Or if your anchor was about the venue, this building is so beautiful, your reveal could be, I've never actually been here before today. I don't usually come to this part of town.
I see. So you're giving them a hook, something they can grab onto in the conversation.
Precisely. If you just say, the cake is good, and stop, it's a dead end. But if you say, the cake is good and I love chocolate, you've given them two things to work with.
Oh.
The cake and your love of chocolate.
And then to make sure they actually pick up one of those hooks, you use E, encourage.
Yes, encourage. This is where you pass the ball to them. You ask a question. This is the magic maneuver that keeps the flow going. People love to talk about themselves or at least give their opinions. You just need to invite them to do it.
So let's put it all together. Let's do a full simulation. Imagine we're at a company holiday party.
Okay. I'm standing with a colleague, with a group. You want to join? Go.
All right. I see the gap in the circle. I walk up. I do the inhale sound. Then I say, wow, I can't believe how many people showed up tonight. That's my anchor.
Good. Shared reality. I'm with you.
Then I reveal, I'm actually a bit overwhelmed. I've been working from home so much lately.
Oh, I like that one. It's a little vulnerable. It makes you really relatable.
And then I encourage, do you guys come to these events often?
Perfect. That is a textbook entry. And now I, as the person in the group, have such an easy way to respond. I can say, oh, I know what you mean about working from home. Or I can just answer the question, yeah, we try to come every year.
Yeah.
You've started a real conversation without being rude or weird or aggressive at all.
It really does take the pressure off. You don't need a clever, funny opening line. You just need anchor, reveal, encourage.
It works in almost any situation. And remember, that reveal part is so crucial. If you skip it, if you just say, crowded in here, do you come here often? It can feel like an interrogation.
Right.
The reveal is what makes it a conversation instead of a quiz.
Okay, so now, different events might need slightly different words. The RRE method is the structure, but let's arm our listeners with some specific ready-to-use phrases for a few different scenarios. We found some great ones. Let's start with weddings.
Weddings are, I think, arguably the easiest place to start conversations because everyone there has one massive thing in common.
The couple.
The couple. So the classic line, the gold standard, is simply, so how do you know the couple?
It's perfect.
How do you know the bride? How do you know the groom? It's the best opener because it invites a story. Nobody just says school. They'll say, oh, we were roommates back in college, or I'm her cousin from Chicago.
And that gives you so much to work with. Oh, Chicago, I've never been there. What's it like?
Exactly. Another great strategy for weddings is the compliment. People spend hours, sometimes days, getting ready for weddings. They buy new dresses. They get their hair done. They want to be noticed.
That's very true. And validating all that effort is such a quick way to make a friend.
So just saying, I love your dress, or that is a really cool tie, is so effective. But don't just stop there. Follow it up with a question.
Like, where did you get it?
Exactly. It
Well,
makes people feel good immediately. Now, let's switch gears. What about work events? Conferences, networking mixers, those can feel a lot stiffer. The stakes feel higher.
for sure.
They do. But the rules are pretty similar. You just want to be a little bit more polite, maybe a bit more formal. A very safe professional phrase is to simply ask for permission to join.
So something like, do you mind if I join you?
Yes. Do you mind if I join you? Or is the seat taken? Or even, may I squeeze in here? It's so polite, it respects their space. And I promise you, 99% of the time, people will say, no, of course not. Please sit down.
Especially at networking events. I mean, that's why everyone is there, to meet people. If they say no, they're the ones being rude, not you.
Exactly. And if you happen to overhear a conversation that sounds really interesting, maybe you hear them talking about a specific project or an industry trend, you can use what's called the context approach.
How does that sound?
You wait for a pause, you do the inhale, and you say, excuse me, I couldn't help but overhear you talking about the new AI regulations. That sounds really interesting.
I like that. It shows you're actually interested in their ideas, not just trying to, schmooze.
And never, ever underestimate the power of the new person card. If you don't know anyone, just own it. Walk up and say, hi, I don't think we've met yet. I'm Leo.
Simple, confident, and effective. Now, what about a casual party? Like a house party where you maybe only know the host and the host is super busy running around.
Casual parties are great for what I like to call the helper strategy. This is my personal favorite because I really hate standing still.
The helper strategy.
Yes. If you feel awkward just standing around holding a drink, give yourself a job to do. Find the host and say, can I help you with anything? Do you need a hand with the ice? Can I put these snacks out?
Oh, that is so smart. It immediately moves you from awkward guest to useful insider.
And it gets you into the kitchen. And as everyone knows, the kitchen is where the best, most relaxed conversations always happen. You can start talking to people while you're opening wine bottles or arranging chips. The activity itself lowers the tension.
Right. It takes the focus off your face and puts it on the task. Can you pass the napkins? Is a very low-pressure way to start talking to someone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And honestly, sometimes just being vulnerable is the best policy. If you really don't know anyone, you could just admit it. Find a group that looks friendly, maybe a group that's laughing a lot, and just say, I don't know many people here. Mind if I hang out with you guys for a minute?
If you say that with a genuine smile, I feel like most decent people will immediately try to make you feel welcome. Their protective instinct kicks in.
It does. They'll say, oh, of course. Come on in. I'm Sarah. This is Mike.
People generally want to be nice. If you admit you're a little lost, you give them a chance to be the heroes who rescued you. Okay, so we've successfully infiltrated the group. We use the ARE method. We're in. Now what? Now comes the maintenance phase. How do we keep the conversation going? We don't want to just stand there silently after our one question.
This brings us to active listening. And I know active listening sounds like something from a corporate training video, but it's actually really dynamic and important.
It means more than just hearing the words, right?
It's so much more. In a group setting, you don't need to be the person talking all the time to be considered part of the conversation. In fact, if there are 5 people, you might only talk 20% of the time.
Yeah.
But you need to show that you're engaged 100% of the time.
And how do we do that without interrupting?
Nonverbal cues.
Yeah.
This is huge. Nod your head, smile when they say something funny, and make sure you're looking at the person who is speaking. If the speaker looks at you, hold their gaze for just a second and nod.
It's called back channeling, isn't it?
Yes. And you could use verbal back channeling too. Little sounds like, oh, really? Wow. Or no way. These little sounds are like grease for the conversation wheels. They tell the speaker, I'm listening, I'm interested, please keep going.
It validates them. It makes them feel like they're a good storyteller.
Exactly. And if you do want to contribute something more substantive, or if the conversation stalls and gets a little awkward, you could use what's called the spokes method.
The spokes method, this is a visualization technique, right? Like a bicycle wheel.
Exactly. Imagine a bicycle wheel. In the center, you have the hub. The hub is the current topic everyone's talking about.
Yeah.
So let's say the topic is travel. Everyone is talking about their recent trips.
Okay, travel is the hub.
And coming out from that hub, you have all these spokes. These are related topics, just associations. So if the conversation about travel starts to run out of steam, or if you want to add something but you haven't traveled lately, you can just travel down a spoke to a new but related topic.
So what would the spokes be for travel?
Well, one spoke could be food. You could say, speaking of Italy, did you have the best pizza of your entire life there? And now the topic is food. Another spoke could be weather. Was it incredibly hot when you went? Now the topic is weather. Another could be transportation. How was the flight? I'm actually terrified of flying.
I see. So you aren't changing the subject randomly. You're not jumping from travel to, I don't know, giraffes.
Right, unless you travel to a safari. But exactly, you want to avoid the hard pivot. If you just jump from, I loved my trip to Paris, to, so I really like turtles, everyone is going to look at you like you're crazy.
Little bit.
But if you just move down a spoke, it feels completely natural.
That is a great way to visualize it. So if you feel stuck, just picture that wheel. What's connected to this topic?
And when you travel down that spoke, try to ask open-ended questions.
Right. We talk about this a lot. Avoid the yes-no questions. They are conversation killers.
They really are. If you ask, did you like the food? The answer is yes. And conversation over. Dead silence.
But if you ask,
what was the best thing you ate? Now they have to tell you a story. They have to describe the pasta, the wine, the little restaurant they found on the corner.
Who, what, where, when, why, and how. The old journalist questions.
Exactly. How did you find that place?
Okay.
Why did you choose Vietnam? These questions open doors instead of closing them.
Okay, so we're listening actively, we're using the spokes method to find new topics, and we're asking open-ended questions. The conversation is going great, but all good things must come to an end.
Or maybe the conversation isn't going so great. Maybe it's boring. Or maybe you just really need to get another drink or go to the bathroom.
This is actually a big barrier for me sometimes. I think people are often afraid to join a group because they're secretly scared they'll get stuck there.
Oh, that's a very real fear.
You just imagine being trapped in a corner listening to someone talk about their cat's new diet for an hour.
Fear of being stuck. But knowing how to leave gracefully gives you the confidence to enter in the first place. If you know you have an escape plan, you feel so much safer walking in.
So what is the escape plan? How do we leave without being rude?
We call it the sandwich exit.
I'm getting hungry with all these food metaphors. First the croissant, now the sandwich. How does this one work?
It works just like a sandwich. You have a top slice of bread, a filling, and a bottom slice.
Okay. What's the top slice?
The top slice is a positive statement. You validate the interaction you just had. So you say something like, it was so great meeting you, or I really loved hearing about your trip to Japan, or this has been such a fun discussion.
Okay, start with something nice. What's the filling?
The filling is your reason for leaving. And here's the key.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a big, complex excuse. Keep it simple. I'm just going to go grab another drink, or I need to go say hi to the host, or I promised myself I'd mingle a bit more tonight.
I promised I'd mingle is a great one because it's totally honest. It just says, I like you, but I'm at a party and I should probably move around.
Exactly. Or even just, well, I'm going to run to the restroom. Nobody can argue with biology.
And then the bottom slice of the sandwich?
The bottom slice is a future wish or just a closing pleasantry. Hope to see you later, or enjoy the rest of the night, or hopefully we can chat again soon.
So let's assemble the full sandwich. It sounds something like this. Well, it was really fascinating hearing about your job, top slice. I think I'm going to go grab some food before it's all gone, filling, but I hope to catch you guys later, bottom slice.
Perfect. It is polite, it's firm, and it gets you out of the conversation without any awkwardness at all. You walk away, and they feel good about the interaction.
And you can use even simpler phrases too, right? Like, oh, I think I see my friend, excuse me, or I'm just going to get some fresh air.
Yes, the key is to be decisive. Say it, smile, and then move. Don't linger. If you say, I'm going to go get a drink, and then you just stand there for another 10 seconds, it gets really weird. Say it and go.
This has been so helpful. I honestly feel like I have a battle plan now. It's not just be yourself, it's actual mechanics.
That's the goal. Social skills are just that. They're skills. They can be learned and practiced.
So let's quickly recap the main points for everyone listening so they can keep this little cheat sheet in their minds.
Sure. Let's run through the checklist. Number 1, fix your mindset. Remember the spotlight effect? People are not staring at you. And remember the liking gap? They probably like you more than you think. Use those chat orations to boost your confidence before you go in.
Number 2, read the room. Don't walk into a closed circle where all the feet are pointing in. Look for the open croissant shapes. Look for the 3.2 split in large groups. And always look for that magical eye contact.
Number 3, the approach. Count to 3 and move. Don't let your brain talk you out of it. Use the inhale trick to signal you want to speak. Keep your arms uncrossed and your drink low to look open and friendly.
Number 4, know what to say. Use the ARE method, anchor on a shared reality. Reveal a little bit about yourself, and then encourage with a question.
Number 5, maintain the flow with active listening and the spokes method. And finally, number 6, exit gracefully using the sandwich method so you never, ever feel trapped.
It sounds so manageable when you break it down like that. It stops being this scary social test, and it starts being more like a game of geometry and biology.
It really is. And I want to leave everyone with a small challenge. Because listening to this is one thing, but actually doing it is another.
Oh, I love a challenge. What's the mission?
The next time you're out, whether it's at a coffee shop, a party, or even just in the break room at work, try to join just one conversation using these tips, even if it's only for 2 minutes.
Just one single interaction.
Just one. Look for an open group, inhale, anchor on something simple in the room. Wow, this coffee line is so slow today, and just see what happens. I think you'll be surprised at how easy it can be.
And just remember, people want to connect. We're social creatures. We survived as a species by being in groups. A smile really does go a very long way.
Absolutely. So go out there, take a deep breath, and join the conversation.
Thanks for listening. I'm Anna.
And I'm Leo. See you next time.
Good luck.